The world of 90 Day Fiancé has never been short on drama, but few storylines have proven as hauntingly complex and tragic as the saga of Varya Malina and Geoffrey Paschel. Once a fan favorite couple, their long-distance love story captivated audiences in Season 4 of Before the 90 Days, with its whirlwind of cultural misunderstandings, jealousy, and passionate reunions. But years after cameras stopped rolling, both have found themselves entangled in serious legal trouble that could change the course of their lives forever. This week, chilling new details surfaced about Varya's arrest, shedding light on her alleged criminal activity and the uphill battle she now faces to avoid prison and possible deportation. From her beginnings as a hopeful bride-to-be to her current fight to stay in the United States, Varya's story is a cautionary tale of how quickly dreams can unravel under the weight of reality and bad choices. The love story that started it all. Varya Malina, a charismatic radio host from Russia, met Geoffrey Paschel, a Tennessee man with a troubled past, through an international dating app. Their season of Before the 90 Days was a roller coaster. Geoffrey's romantic history and criminal charges back home in America loomed over their relationship like a storm cloud, even as he traveled to Siberia to meet her. In Russia, Geoffrey proposed to a stunned Varya, who initially rejected him because of how fast things were moving, only to change her mind shortly after he returned to the US. In a dramatic twist, Varya flew to Tennessee to surprise Geoffrey, only to find another woman in his home. Their confrontation was tense and heartbreaking, but ultimately, they reconciled and became engaged. It seemed, at least at the time, that love had conquered all, even Geoffrey's legal problems. Geoffrey's downfall. But as viewers learned after the show aired, Geoffrey's past wasn't just a footnote, it was a ticking time bomb. In 2021, he was convicted of aggravated kidnapping and domestic assault stemming from a previous relationship, and sentenced to 18 years in prison without parole. His shocking conviction left fans reeling and Varya devastated. In a display of loyalty that surprised many, Varya chose to stay in America rather than return to Russia, supporting Geoffrey emotionally while adjusting to life alone in a foreign country. She updated fans on social media regularly, visiting him in prison and sharing words of hope. But while she portrayed a strong front to the world, it seems Varya was quietly facing her own struggles behind the scenes. A sudden arrest. In July 2025, news broke that Varya herself had been arrested, and the charges were both shocking and deeply disappointing to fans who had once rooted for her. According to reports posted on Reddit and Instagram by 90 Day Fiancé bloggers, Varya was accused of felony theft for a series of alleged shoplifting incidents that occurred between February and May 2025. Court documents revealed that she allegedly entered Lowe's hardware stores in West Knoxville, Alcoa, Crossville, and Cookville on at least 8 occasions, taking merchandise and walking past all checkout lanes without paying. What's more, investigators identified her using store surveillance footage and cross-referenced her appearance with photos from her social media accounts, even noting that she wore the same outfit seen during one of the alleged thefts when visiting a jailed associate linked to the case. The value of the stolen merchandise reportedly ranged between $1,000 and $2,500, making it a Class E felony in Tennessee. If convicted, Varya could face between 1 and 6 years in prison, along with fines and a criminal record that could jeopardize her future in America. Bailed out, but not free. After her arrest, Varya was released on bail and took to social media to thank her supporters. "I'm truly overwhelmed by the kind words and messages I've received," she wrote in an Instagram story. "Your support is giving me strength to keep going through this very hard time." But legal experts warn that her battle has just begun. Even if Varya is able to negotiate a plea deal or avoid jail time, a felony conviction could have severe consequences beyond prison, particularly for her immigration status. A fragile immigration status. When Varya won a green card through the Diversity Immigrant Visa Program, better known as the Green Card Lottery, in 2021, it seemed like her American dream was finally within reach. But as any immigrant knows, a U.S. green card is not unshakable. Under U.S. immigration law, green card holders who are convicted of certain crimes, including theft and crimes of moral turpitude, can be deemed deportable. Even a single felony conviction can trigger removal proceedings, meaning Varya could be sent back to Russia, permanently barred from returning to the United States. She's in a very precarious position, says one Knoxville-based immigration attorney, who reviewed the details of the case anonymously. If the charges stick and result in a felony conviction, she may find herself not just behind bars, but in immigration court fighting to stay in the country. This looming threat casts a long shadow over Varya's future, especially as Geoffrey serves out his lengthy prison term. The couple's future in jeopardy. For years, Varya and Geoffrey maintained the appearance of a united front, even in the wake of his conviction. Her steadfastness, visiting him in prison and defending him publicly, earned her admiration from some fans and criticism from others. But with both now facing their own serious legal challenges, their relationship's future looks increasingly uncertain. With Geoffrey still serving nearly 2 decades in prison, and Varya potentially facing time herself, or deportation, the likelihood of a happy ending seems slim. Some fans have speculated whether the stress of Geoffrey's incarceration may have contributed to Varya's alleged actions. Life in a foreign country, cut off from family and facing immense emotional and financial pressure, can take a toll. Still, others argue that there's no excuse for theft and that she's responsible for her choices. Public reaction. The reaction from the 90-Day Fiancé fandom has been mixed. Some have expressed disappointment, saying they once admired Varya's resilience and strength and now feel let down. Others have been more sympathetic, pointing out that she's human, flawed, and likely under enormous pressure. She stood by Geoffrey even when she didn't have to, one fan wrote on Reddit. Now it seems like everything's crashing down on her. I just hope she can get the help she needs. Others have been harsher. She knew what she was doing, another Redditor said. If you're here on a green card, you don't mess around with the law. She's made her bed. A cautionary tale. Regardless of how her case plays out, Varya's story serves as a sobering reminder of how quickly circumstances can change, and how even reality TV stars are not immune to the consequences of their actions. From her televised fairy tale proposal in Russia to her current legal nightmare, the arc of Varya's journey highlights the darker side of fame and the very real pressures that come with starting over in a new country, especially under public scrutiny. For now, Varya remains free on bail, awaiting her next court appearance. Her future, both in the US and with Geoffrey, hangs in the balance. What's next? Varya's legal team will likely explore all available options to minimize the damage. First-time offenders sometimes qualify for diversion programs or probation in lieu of prison, though the felony charge complicates her chances. Even if she avoids jail, however, the immigration consequences could be harder to escape. Ultimately, even if she avoids conviction, immigration authorities have a lot of discretion, the Knoxville attorney adds. It's an uphill battle, and it depends on a lot of factors, including how her case is resolved. For fans of 90-Day Fiancé, her next moves will be closely watched. Will she return to Russia voluntarily, fight to stay and clear her name, or quietly disappear from the public eye? A message of gratitude. In the meantime, Varya has continued to post sparingly on social media, expressing gratitude to those who have stood by her. It's been a very dark time, but the messages of support and encouragement mean more than words can say, she shared recently. Whether she can overcome this chapter and rebuild her life remains to be seen, but one thing is clear, the story of Varya Malina and Geoffrey Paschel is far from over. And as the legal system takes its course, fans will be watching, hoping for answers, closure, and perhaps, redemption.